Hello and welcome to the Monarchs Friday Focus. Myself, Graham Muncie, joined by Dave Harley as we look back on a big 54-36 victory for the home men in the first leg of the KO Cup quarter-final. Dave, we kind of said the last month or so has been pretty tough for the Monarchs at home. 2 draws, a defeat and a heat 15-5-1 required for the only win. But tonight Richie Worrell was back and the home men were back on song.
Yeah, fantastic. Welcome back, Richie Worrell, and it's great to have a 7-man team, and we saw that from the results, and Sam and Richie both going almost unbeaten all the way through, and some fantastic racing as well in the minor places, Anders Rowe and Kyle Bickley really trying hard for us, and just overall a great night. 18-point win. That's what we're after, so we'll take that to Birmingham next week.
Yep, 18-point lead, as Dave mentioned there, to head down to Birmingham with on the 29th for the second leg. We'll get reactions to that from both camps. We'll speak to returning Monarchs man Richie Worrell, and we'll hear from Ashley Morris of Birmingham. And as always, your race of the night, and it was a tough battle there. I think it was a bit of a battle between us on which one we wanted, but I think we decided on heat number 8 in the end, didn't we, Dave? So it was heat 8 and an excellent battle between Anders Rowe and it would have been Ashley Morris. So Dave, the cup tie is always different to the league. In the league, it's about winning the match. You get the points. 49's the preferred number because then you stop the away team getting anything. In the cup, it's all about building up the lead. And the Monarchs started well. They had an advantage all the way from heat 1, a 4-2 in heat 1, and they never looked back. And Birmingham, only 2 heat wins on the night, both of which, again, I'll double check my programme, but I'm pretty sure both of which were share of the spoils. No heat advantages for the visitors, and if you're stopping the away team from getting any heat advantages, you're going to build up a lead.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, we talk about last places and first places, but last places are crucial, and it's just been a phenomenal night all the way through. I think someone laughed and said the 2-point lead after heat 1 was our biggest lead for about 4 weeks, but we never look back from there. Even when we're having our challenges, our heat leaders are out winning the race, no problem at all, and giving us a fantastic platform to build on, and we just steadily built that lead all the way through, picking up 4-2s, 5-1s, and getting to that 54 point mark.
Yeah, you mentioned it there, the heat leaders all in close to dominant form. Josh, Sam and Richie all only dropped 1 point each to an opposite rider, all to Chris Harris. Chris was the only visiting rider with a heat win. He had 2 heat wins, including heat 15, which spoiled the maximums for Richie and Sam, the only blobs on their copybook, as they say. But excellent. And I guess even we heard from Josh during the match, anyone watching the stream or in the stadium heard, just the difference of having 7 men back. It takes the pressure off. You can concentrate on your own night. You can make those changes to bikes because you're not out. I think when we spoke to Josh after the match last week, he'd done 7 races out of 12 or out of 13. So no time to adjust anything during the match. The difference in there tonight, Birmingham, I guess they'll maybe look back and say, no Jack Thomas, no Paco Castagna. They were, was it paid 18 or something they got last week?
Yeah, and only 6. Yeah, 6
but
paid 10 the night.
On the flip side, you said Drew Kemp was into double figures last week, and Kyle Bickley was an excellent guest with 7. So it's all kind of swings and roundabouts. And as it stands, 18 points is the gap, and what hopefully is a confidence boost in and what we can only hope is that the Monarchs' last home match of the season, because actually, you sit here looking at the programme, and I'm sure something will be arranged. If the Monarchs' worst case scenario was to happen and we weren't to make the playoffs and we were to get beat by Birmingham in the second leg, then as it stands, there's nothing in the fixture card just now.
But you're correct there, but it is all in our hands. We've got 3 massive matches over the next 5 days, and what a confidence boost going into those 3 matches. So starting tomorrow at Leicester, I believe we are capable of getting the results we need to make sure we will have more Monarchs matches, but there will be the Devils as well.
Of course, we're not finished here by any means. This isn't a so long farewell of leaders saying goodbye to put a wee bit of Tartan Army song in there. But it's good to get that victory, and with hopefully more home matches to come, build the confidence. And as Dave mentioned, a huge weekend ahead, not just about tonight. We'll talk a little bit. Leicester on Saturday, Newcastle on Sunday, league points, and that was something that was very much at the forefront of Richie Worrell's mind when I spoke to him after the match tonight. So Richie, first night back after a month off and straight back at the swing of things. You must have enjoyed that.
I did, yeah. I mean, I weren't going to come back if I couldn't come back and do that, to be honest. It's not really worth it for the team and for myself, because you start riding with not much confidence, and you've got to also come back from that as well as an injury. So back, I knew I was going to be all right. I had a little practice earlier on, just get rid of some rust, some cobwebs. When I went into tonight feeling confident.
Yeah, and a big result for Monarchs. Obviously the last 3 or 4 weeks while you've been out, it's been a bit of a struggle at home. So we got there and put a big score on. got to build the guys up before the second leg, and obviously a huge week ahead with the 3 league matches to come as well.
Yeah, and they're important as well. We've got to get in them playoffs. Got to get some points on the road now. So couldn't have timed it any better really for coming back and back to my normal self, which is good. So hopefully we can pick something up and get in them playoffs.
And how was it there? There were some tremendous races, albeit normally when the riders got the front they were gone, but some of the battles behind you were outstanding. So
yeah, early on,
good track to be on.
Well, early on, I missed the start in the first one, and I had to do a little bit of work and get past Eric. Just watch you back there. And then the same in a couple of other races. The difference was tonight there was a bit more dirt on the track for us. It did suit, I'd say, 3 or 4 of us more than the slicker surface does, and it shows in the results. We've got a good advantage now to take to their place.
And then massive weekend we mentioned Leicester, Newcastle. So a former league winner at Leicester, Newcastle. Like you said before, one of your favourite tracks in the country.
Yeah, so I learned how to ride. I learned how to ride on Newcastle. Spent a year at Leicester. I learned how to ride that place. So I'm expecting to score some points. Yeah.
Richie there saying himself, he wasn't going to come back if he didn't have the confidence to do what he did tonight. He did. He was here testing this afternoon, getting some practice starts in, getting some practice laps in, so he knew he was ready for tonight, and that certainly showed.
Yeah, that's it. When you've been off the bike for so long, you must be a wee bit nervous again. Come back, yeah. Even those guys with all that experience, and it is so critical. I mean, maybe it's only a finger, but that's what gets you off the start line. That left hand, and so it's a fantastic performance from Richie, and going back to one of his old tracks tomorrow night, we'll need him to be at his best, and it's been fantastic to see that. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, it really did make the big difference. Everyone else backed up, as we mentioned. Sam was paid for 14 as well. Josh 11 from his 4 rides, and that's not to take away anything else. Kai coming back after his crash, he had 7, paid 9, I think it is. And Anders Rowe, you've never seen anyone work harder for 3 points in your life than Anders did tonight. He just couldn't quite get himself into the positions he wanted to be, and always getting stuck in traffic, but battling throughout. And Kyle Bickley, an excellent guest at the bottom end with 7 also, so solid all the way through.
Yeah, definitely, and I think you're right to pick out Anders. He's learning the track, and he's learned the inside now, because he mastered that. He got a couple of points from picking away on the outside, and he maybe just got himself in the wrong position when he was going the outside. But we've got a rider there coming, and Kyle Bickley we might see a few more times in that place. Obviously, with Nathan Greaves not being here the rest of the season, but some good and some fantastic race. I mean, we talk about Richie Worrell, but his first race, Eric's passed him, and he gets past him again. Just fantastic. And then some of the races featuring Anders and Ashley Morris and James Shanes, just brilliant. And Kyle Bickley as well. Yeah,
some fantastic races. And if we flip it over to the Birmingham side of the pits, Chris Harris 2 race wins and into double figures. But beyond that, it was a solid team, but there wasn't the consistent threat to the Monarchs top men to really push them into the match. We see Ashley Morris had another good night, and he gets himself into heat 15. Eric a bit subdued with 6. James Shanes with his best Armadale meeting of the season. It must be not talking to us for the preview show that kicked him up that, and some fantastic passing from James Shanes as well. Then Jason Edwards will be happy with his night's work. We paid 8 at the bottom end also, but the difference was the heat wins. There was only 2 out of that, and as I said earlier on, the 2 heat wins were still 2 share of the spoils, so they couldn't back up and make any hits into the Monarch lead, and that was something that Ashley Morris reflected on after the match when I caught up with him. So Ash, what a tough night for the Brummies tonight. Stuck to the task, 18 points, still a race for in the second leg.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously it's not ideal, the gap that we've given ourselves, but obviously we just got to work with what we've got now, and hopefully be on everyone click at the same time when it's the return leg, and that's all we can do is ride our best.
And some cracking racing there tonight, not off the front, often the guy in front was gone, but some of the battles, yourself, James, Anders were having some absolute ding-dongs back there.
Yeah, there's some good racing, like passing and stuff. It did produce quite a bit of different lines, which was good, and it's just frustrating if you don't consistently make the gates around here, but no, I can't complain. It was different to last week, so we had to adjust, and then boys was on it.
A big week coming up, obviously Wednesday. The Monarchs head down to Birmingham in the league, and 4 teams desperate for points. So that home defeat to Redcar maybe puts Birmingham under pressure a little bit. Same way Edinburgh after their home form. So both teams will need to win that for any chance in the playoffs, you would think.
Yeah, of course. Every meeting's a must win. At the end of the day, you know what's at task. That's what you're doing the job, and just obviously Wednesday's just another night, and just turn up, do what you normally do, and hopefully get the result on the night.
And from your point of view tonight, obviously it's all that's working at heat 15 now. That must give you confidence when you're coming to away tracks and getting those nominations.
Yeah, it was obviously a tough night tonight. A few silly mistakes which made me end up getting in traffic, which was frustrating. I had to work a bit harder than I wanted to, but no, we got past some people and some that I didn't, obviously, but overall it was alright. It was a consistent night and going away with some points, so I'm happy with that.
So Dave, 54-36 was the score. First leg of the Cup, 18 points we now defend. It's a good lead, but still work to be done. You know, I remember back a few years ago when we thought we had Workington home and hose. Was a 28-point lead we had over them. Was there a year where we had a 30-point lead over Sheffield?
I think we had one over Birmingham as well in the past, where we've gone there with something around the lines of 20 points. But you know, there's a lot of big matches before then.
Yep.
But you've got to look at our top 3 and top 4 and think we're going to have enough to get to that 37-point mark, but it's not a gimme. We need to go there and race, and we all know, well, anybody that's paying attention to Speedway in the forums knows what's happening at Birmingham. So it's, you know, it might be a challenging night ahead, but we've got guys that are willing to dig in and get there, and we'll get that result. And it is all to race for. And hopefully, you talk about us, this might be the last race. Yeah. I'm thinking we're seeing semi-finals and finals in October. Sounds
good to me. Sounds good to me, Dave. Of course, before we head to Birmingham in the Cup, that's the 29th off the top of my head. We'll be there this week. Yep. 3 huge matches coming up for the Monarchs League hopes. We head to Leicester on Saturday, Newcastle Sunday, Birmingham Wednesday. Nothing's decided in the league table yet. You know, there's home matches, there's away matches, etc. for their teams still to come. But really, for the Monarchs to put themselves in a strong position, it's 2 away wins. And 2 away wins, you would think, should guarantee a playoff place.
Yeah, I think 2 away wins would be enough, but we're at a stage now where we do need to get Scunthorpe beating Poole tonight as possibly that was the last chance of us sneaking in on 29 points. I don't think that'll be what'll happen anyway. But you know, there's very few tracks we've gone to this season and not picked up at least 1 point. Yeah. We obviously went to Newcastle in the first round of the Cup and picked up enough for a 4-point win that night. And it's again, Newcastle will be one of the last few meetings, and they'll be well up for it. They'll not want to have anybody come and take it away. So both Edinburgh and Birmingham have got to go to Newcastle, and I think whatever Birmingham do, we've got to match them, but we go first. So that means we really need to get 4 on Sunday. Yep,
so a huge weekend of matches ahead, and we'll look back on them when we have it'll be a Dale Devils preview show during the week. Next Friday it's the Devils that are here. Obviously, before we finish up, we always have our Heat of the Week, and we mentioned I put a wee mark in the programme next to ones that could be contenders, and some of the last few weeks, you know, there's only been 1 or 2. This week I had 6 marked as excellent races, and some of the battles for the lower position, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, was fantastic, and the consensus was Heat 8. Just. I was going to say, the consensus by a smidge was Heat 8, and we'll see that now.
Okay, well, here's another important heat, number 8, our bogey heat in recent weeks. Got Jason Edwards coming from gate 1, Kyle Bickley in gate 2, Ashley Morris, the rider replacement, in gate 3, and Anders Rowe in gate 4. Quite an evenly matched race. How's it going to go? Bickley, a tremendous start. 2 Brummies in 2nd and 3rd, but forcing his way through there. Anders Rowe is on the outside of the Brummies, going on the top bend there. Terrific riding by Rowe. He's gone right round everybody. And Bickley's got to watch for his partner here and not give him a hard time. Terrific riding by Rowe. Bickley could do with easing up a bit, but he hasn't done that. Morris has got under him. Morris has got under Rowe into 2nd spot. Rowe having another go on the outside. And Bickley, I think he did. It was a big burst at the end there by Ashley Morris, so we'll wait for that result. I think the Monarchs could have teamed up a wee bit better, but perhaps it's a bit unfair for relatively inexperienced riders to criticise them for that. We'll see what the referee says.
Yep, we'll wait for the results to come through on screen for that one, Mike. But what an interesting race. Bickley, I don't know, we'll see it again, no doubt, but some would say excellent, some would say anticipated the start. wide to the front. Anders with a fantastic, I mean, it looked like he was going to get blocked out to last going into the third bend and then blasted round the field. There we have the result on screen. First in blue, Kyle Bickley. Second in white, Ashley Morris. Third in red, Anders Rowe and Jason Edwards at the back. A 4-2 to the Monarchs means 10 points is the advantage after Heat 8. Some fantastic action there, Dave, and the kind of action we've seen across tonight, and hopefully the kind of action we're seeing many more matches to come the rest of the way. But next Friday, as we say, it's the Devils. We'll be back during the week with a preview show for that. Until then, thanks for watching and goodbye.